In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, Andrew and Justine are with us. Hi, how are you?
Hey, Dave.
Hi, Dave. We've got so much to tell you.
Well, I can't wait to hear it all. Where are you guys from?
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Awesome. Welcome to Nashville.
Thank you.
I'm guessing you're here to do a debt-free scream.
Yes, sir.
We are.
How much have you paid off?
$45,000.
Very cool. And how long did that take?
15 months.
Very good. Making what kind of range of income during that time?
Started about 160, now about 185.
Way to go. What do you guys do for a living?
I'm a proud occupational therapist at Shriners Hospital for Children in Philadelphia.
You ought to be proud. That's good, that's good work. Yes.
Thank you.
And I'm a consultant for companies that run large construction projects.
Very cool. Good, good. Excellent careers. Very cool. What kind of debt was the $45,000?
Well, it was mostly our combined student loans, but there was also a brand new car in there.
Brand new car.
Yeah.
How much of the 45 was the car?
It was about 15
Okay.
and 30 on student loans.
On the student loans.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And so what happened 15 months ago?
So when we graduated college, we had about $100,000 in debt, and we always knew that we wanted to pay off our debt, and it was a priority in our lives. Mm-hmm. What we really struggled with was the how. And as two young professionals with good advancing careers, we thought the answer was to make more money.
Yeah.
So that's really what we were concentrating on, and we were only considering the income and not the outgo. And late 2014, I got a good raise at work, and we lived with that for a couple months and had no more money to show for it.
Yeah.
We were not making progress. It just was all going out.
Feel like a rat in a wheel.
Exactly.
Yep.
And we were just tired of working that hard and not making any progress.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
There you go.
I got online and started doing some searches, and luckily I found your website, and I was on board as soon as I read it.
Very cool. And then?
Well, the implication there is that I was not.
I saw the body language. The people in the radio didn't get to see it, but
they
I
could
saw
probably
it.
hear it.
Yeah.
No. So, Andrew's always been the financial guy, the numbers guy in the relationship, which I love him for immensely. And personal finances made me feel completely overwhelmed, out of control. I really felt like the way I was completely intimidated. And the way I was measuring my financial health was just to sort of benchmark myself with those around me. If I was sort of doing what those around me were doing, I must be doing okay. I must be being an adult, and I'm going to be okay. But it took a little growing up to sort of realize that you don't figure out if you're sick by putting the thermometer in somebody else's ear. You've got to examine yourself a little more closely. And so initially when Andrew brought up kind of the zero-based budget and the Dave Ramsey plan, I thought it seemed a little excessive, but it did not take long of participating in the process and the monthly budget meetings to really see that traction and get that snowball going. And it did not take very long to get me on board.
No.
So certainly I was sold.
Yeah, but that first budget night, the first time you sit down, your palms had to be sweating.
Oh, I mean, probably the first three, there were some serious arguments in the Lafayette household.
Yeah.
Well, what was one of them? Tell us all. What was one of the arguments about? Do you remember?
I think initially we started budgeting right after we got married 3 years ago, and our initial budgets were not zero-based, and that was where a lot of the issues were, because I'm the numbers guy, and I had ideals in my head of what we should be able to do.
So the other budgets were about you telling Justine what to do.
He's really good at that. He's had a lot of practice.
But when we started doing the zero-based budget, there was definitely a change in the way we budgeted and the way we communicated about it, and that was the key to success. Once we started doing that, it was really about small refinements and not arguments.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm totally on board now. I mean, it was my idea that we start monthly meetings. We meet twice a month because I love that feeling of control now that I have over the money and telling my dollars what to do. And so we get to the mid-month and I'm able to feel that control again and say, hey, we've still got some takeout dollars left, or this and that. And it's empowering to feel that way. So.
You have this. It's in control and it's empowering. Those are the exact words. That's very, very good. And that's the dichotomy. I remember it like it was yesterday. I can see the kitchen table. I mean, it was 30 years ago. And I could see Sharon, with her fists balled up and mad and arguing about the food budget. I couldn't believe with two kids at that time that she was going to spend that much on food. I couldn't believe it. And I was challenging her on it, and she got mad. I got mad. I mean, it was a fight.
It was.
And that was our first budget meeting, and it didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. But it had, what's funny is it has to do with being afraid that your vote is not going to count. And it has to do with being intimidated. And mix in there, for me anyway, and for Sharon, I won't put this on you guys, but a little bit of shame and a little bit of guilt that I don't know what I'm doing and I feel out of control. And so I've kind of got to bow up.
Yeah. And, I think for coming from such sort of and I'll say it about myself, an ignorant place myself, in terms of my financial literacy, what you're speaking to, being able to institute the baby steps and then get a greater picture of where our funds were going to really helped through the budgeting process, because I was able to kind of expand my view to the bigger picture. And it took a few months of budgeting and seeing the progress we were making to even take a step back and say, whoa, like we're going to have money to retire with. This is our whole lives we're talking about here.
This is really going to work.
This is really going to work. And that's a really exciting feeling, and it feels good to be on a good path.
Her financial literacy has improved so much over the last 15 months. I mean, last month she came to me with her mutual funds and her 403B and said, these are the ones I want to pick.
I think he was afraid I had a secret twin sister. He didn't know. He was like, what did you do with my wife?
That is awesome.
Yeah,
when you come in and start telling Mr. Nerd how it's going to go down, that's awesome. That is very cool.
So
well, that's, and that's where you should be. You're empowered, and then you both have an intelligent, wise vote on how our household's going to be run, where we're going with our money, our treasure's where our heart is, and where we go from there. So you guys did all of this from the website or what?
Daily listening to the podcast.
The book.
The book.
Total Money Makeover.
Total Money Makeover. Since Red retire inspired too.
Yeah, but I've got a whole lot of podcasts on my phone right now. A whole lot of commutes listening to Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we're honored. You guys are incredible. So what would you tell people that the biggest key is? Obviously, the zero-based budget played a big part for you guys. What else?
That was huge. And for me, just kind of the getting focused on what I needed to do to get there. You know, the simple math seems so intimidating, and I think you just really have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired, harness that focus, and pull in all the incomings and all the outgoings. And it's really simple arithmetic when it comes down to it. So it doesn't have to be so scary. You just kind of need to harness that motivation and focus and go for it. Do you have a trick that you would?
I think just the communication, just sitting down and doing it together as a team. That's when we really started to have success. So we did together.
You started off this thing wrong, Andrew, with how you were communicating with her.
Absolutely.
What would you say to guys or to spouses that are on board and they're trying to get their reluctant spouse to do this with them, that you did wrong, and then what did you do right that caused this communication to actually happen?
So I stopped focusing on the immediate step of let's spend less money, and I started talking about what we can do together as a team and what we want to do in our future and how these steps will get us there, right? It's not about the mechanics. It's about the vision at the end and how we're going to get there together.
Start talking about why we're doing this.
Exactly.
Not just what we're doing.
Yeah.
The why is bigger than the what.
Right. And I mean, I'm an engineer, so I love the mechanics.
You love the tactical.
Yeah.
So we can tell. So Justine, did you feel that? Did you feel that from him?
Oh yeah, and I think I could definitely feel the shift too. I mean, whenever there's a shift in communication too, I understand where you are on this. Let's get on the same page. Yeah. Let's go somewhere together. I think you can't help but feel that, and I appreciate that.
Well done.
And now here we are.
$45,000 paid off in 15 months. Andrew and Justine, count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yes! I love it! Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show. And so you have to break the cycle. You have to flip this thing on its head and make it behave. You've got to get so fired up and wired up that your broke friends think you've lost your mind.